Hello, I'm Paul of Simmons Training. In today's lesson, I'm going to give you 10 very useful tips for teaching online. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is talk you through this blog post I did a while ago about 10 tips on how to be a good online teacher or instructor or freelance trainer. We'll go through this post and go through the 10 points together. Let's do it. So let's look at point number 1. Remember to look towards the webcam at the top of your screen when you can. So consider that normally the camera is going to be on the top of your laptop. If you're using a laptop, or if you've got a webcam, it's probably going to be on the top of your computer. So the tendency, of course, is usually to look straight ahead at your computer screen, so you're not looking at the camera. Now you do want to look at the camera, but you don't want to stare into the camera because it's going to look a bit weird as though you're staring at someone's face. So you really want to get a balance of looking at the camera sometimes, looking at your screen, and maybe mix it up like 50%, 50%. And the other thing is it can be tempting to look at yourself as you see yourself on screen. So let's say right now you can see me, I'm down here in the bottom corner, and I could start staring at myself and I'm more focused on myself and seeing myself than what I am focusing on you, the student. So sometimes I want to look at you in the camera. I should be looking towards you. I'm looking at the camera now. Sometimes I might be looking down at the screen, reading things. Just get a balance, but don't be staring at yourself. Is that me? Is that how I look? Don't be staring straight at the camera. Just get a balance. Be natural. So the action I suggest for this is when talking online to students, make a point sometimes to talk directly to the camera and not directly to the middle of your screen. Also, do a practice run with a friend to get used to seeing yourself on screen. By doing this, you won't be paranoid about seeing yourself and keep staring at yourself. So do a trial run with a friend. Number 2, make use of group and team building activities online by using breakout rooms. Breakout rooms are not on every platform that you can use for online teaching. They are available on systems such as Zoom and WebEx. I recently did a web post on Simmons Training about what platforms you can use for breakout rooms and for whiteboards and chat facilities. So I will put a link to this blog post about the online training platforms. I will put a link to that below this video on YouTube, or if you're watching this through the blog post, you will see a link below also. But at the time of writing, those were the platforms you could use breakout rooms on. Breakout rooms are incredibly useful because your students and participants will lose focus very, very quickly when you're teaching online compared to if they were in a real life classroom. So you want to do things which are interactive and keep them interested. So breakout rooms, they provide the chance for your participants to learn via different teaching methods. So they can do activities and then they've got you teaching direct. So some people learn by listening, some learn by doing activities. You can mix up the teaching methods by using breakout rooms. Breakout rooms also mean the chance to mix participants up, or students, participants, and they can have the chance to get to know each other. And so you can use online icebreakers. I will put a link to a bunch of online icebreakers below this video also, because we have a bunch of online icebreakers, virtual icebreakers that you can use for online teaching if you wish, and you can use these in breakout rooms. You might be quite new to online teaching and wonder, how on earth can I teach and use icebreakers and team building activities online? Because how's it going to work online as opposed to offline? It's not that difficult. You just use breakout rooms. So for point number 2, the action is make use of breakout rooms when teaching online to ensure that the training and teaching you offer is dynamic and helps all learner types to develop. Number 3, create the right working environment for teaching online. So do think very carefully about the room location. For example, if you're using your living room close to your front door, somebody might press the doorbell, the postman may put something through the letterbox. Anything can happen. These are all distractions, and if you're teaching online, it's going to distract from the lesson. So you need a quiet place, a good location. So make sure to find a quiet room in which you are away from distractions and where you can be undisturbed. Likewise, background and setting. Be very careful about the background that you use when you are teaching online. You do not want, for example, to have mirrors directly behind you. Mirrors that are reflecting on what's going on in front of you, and somebody else may be walking by in the same room, and you don't want anything that is going to distract your students, your participants, from what you are teaching. You're better off not having a window behind you, because if something's going on outside, your students will begin to be more interested in what's going on outside. They will begin to lose focus on your lesson. So you don't want that. Keep it so that it's a simple background, no distractions. Keep the participants focused on the lesson. Action for this point. In addition to creating a room that is quiet and is peaceful, make sure that the background is not distracting for your participants, and make sure, of course, that it's well lit so that they can easily see you. Number 4, make effective use of pauses. It's important in all teaching, but especially so online. So there's this feeling when you're teaching online that you should talk more and more and not stop. But pauses are always a good thing. Use the pauses though in the right places. Use them to emphasize a point, and do not be afraid of a few seconds of silence. Action. Be comfortable with brief pauses and do not panic when there is also sometimes silence. Number 5, understand and learn how to manage students who log in late to the virtual classroom. When you first start teaching online and you start doing the lesson and you're getting into some kind of rhythm, and then somebody joins the virtual class 10 minutes late, it can really give you quite a surprise when you teach online for the first time, because you suddenly see these faces pop up on screen, or you see a message pop up on screen, and it's just a bit confusing the very first time. You will soon get used to it. But just like in a normal classroom, you're always going to get one person who's going to pop up late. Number 6, make sure you have the right equipment. Now, I just published a video actually on YouTube on the equipment you need to teach online. So you might want to watch that video. I will include a link below this video. If you're watching on YouTube, look at the extra information just below this video. I will include that link. You need really a good HD webcam. Now, you don't need to spend that much money. The Logitech C920, I'll include a link below. That is a great video camera because it's HD ready, widescreen, and it only costs, well, less than $100, less than £100. It's a great camera. And by the way, all you do with this camera is plug it into the side of your USB port on your computer. And it just sits on top of your laptop. It's got like a leg on the bottom of the camera. You don't need anything else. All you need is the camera, and you just plug it in. It's so easy. Make sure you got good audio equipment. Again, you might want to look at the post on best equipment for teaching online. Number 8, make use of whiteboards or annotation and polls when teaching online. So I'll take you back to that other post. So when I say about use like whiteboards or chat or polls, you'll have to consider what platform you are using. If you're using Zoom, you can use whiteboards, breakout rooms, chat facility, polls, and you can see the other options and the comparisons on that post there, on the online whiteboard post we did on Simmons training. So whiteboards basically are just, as you can imagine, in a normal classroom, it's a whiteboard. You get a marker and you can draw things and list things, and you can use these online in virtual classrooms. And you can use polls in the class. It's quite easy, like on Zoom and WebEx. Make use of these tools to make your classes much more interactive. Number 9, get used to the technology. I cannot emphasize this enough, because even if you just spend half an hour practicing and getting used to the technology, you should do this. It sounds obvious, but a lot of people don't. And in the first 1 or 2 classes, it can be a little bit of a disaster. So get used to setting up and connecting your webcam. Test it out on friends 1 or 2 days before. Make sure you know how to do a little bit of lighting. So just play around with the lighting as well. You can see that I've got a lamp here. I mean, I could put it in different places and just experiment a little bit. experiment yourself with lamps, or turn in your computer so that you've got the light from a window coming beside you. You might have lights on your ceiling. Just play around, but just create something so that you're lit and students can see you okay. So lighting, that's useful to think about too. Make sure you know how to use your audio equipment. So make sure you've tested it and make sure it's working. Make sure you plugged it in, because if I unplug this microphone, you'll probably hear me and it doesn't sound anywhere near as good. Sometimes I forget to plug it in, but now it's probably a much better quality. So make sure you got your microphone set up. This is all, if you're interested in these kind of audio microphones, I've got it in the post about best equipment to use, because I think the audio level is pretty good here, and you can move anywhere in the room with these as well. So if you're teaching something like yoga, or if you're teaching fitness or anything like that, these Rode mics are very, very, very good, because you can go around the room. Fantastic. So for point number 9 there, the action is: do take time to test, try and retest the equipment and software and lighting that you're going to use. It might sound obvious, but a lot of people do not do this. For point number 10, remember to turn your camera off at the end, or if it becomes necessary, because don't do what Jennifer did. I don't know if you've seen the video, but Jennifer there, she went to the toilet and took her laptop with her, much to the amusement of everybody else watching in the lesson. You're probably not going to do such a thing, but you might want to remember to turn your camera off at the end. And as I said before, the privacy shutter is a lovely feature of the Logitech camera these days. Flip the privacy shutter down when you're not wanting to be on camera. That's a great camera to have. Well, that's the end of this lesson. That's 10 great tips, I think, but I would love to hear your tips and your advice. If you're watching on YouTube, you can put your comments right below this video. If you're watching this video in the blog post on Simmons Training, you can go to the bottom and put comments on the bottom of this blog post. It would also be so amazing if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can click the button below. Anyway, it's been fantastic to have you here. Thanks for watching this video. I really appreciate that you give your time to watch this, and really genuinely hope that it was useful. I will see you in the next video. Every Thursday I try and publish a video. I really hope you watch the next one too. Thank you.